What's going on, guys? I'm Glacier today to bring you a brand new video, the first one in a long time, actually. Quick update. I just got my PC fixed. It was the motherboard and the processor had fried. I got them replaced, and this thing is like way faster than what it was before. And I've been enjoying the hell out of it. So, just giving you an update on why I haven't been able to play at all for 3 weeks, and it's been awful. I've been bored as hell. Thankfully, I've had my family to keep me somewhat occupied. But I'm back, and I wanted to start off with this. It's a video about Trials. The gameplay in the background was from this week or last week, whatever day you see this, or whenever. When they changed the matchmaking a little differently, and we'll get into that later. But this is our flawless game. Pretty good game, 5-3. Seemed a lot closer than what it really was, but it was a pretty good game. Overall, our run on this card was pretty solid. A lot of pretty competitive games. I do like it. But we'll get on to more on why I still find a problem with this matchmaking. Trials overall since this season, I believe, or since the anti-cheat's been developed and put into the game, has been a lot better. The changes they've made have been fantastic. It's been my favorite playlist. It's probably been the only playlist I've wanted to play in since the changes have been made. I don't even want to play 6v6 because that's a whole different video for a different time because it's not fun. I've honestly found comp more fun, which is our survival, whatever you want to call it now, which is insane. But Trials is honestly where I usually like to go to, because Trials is, for now, for what it is, for the most part, what it's been, pretty good. What I want to talk about is the changes they made this week, last week, whatever, the Widow's Court changes. Because they change it every week. They change it, I try to tweak it a little bit. This week was different. This goes based off of wins. Not wins per card, but wins in total.
Kill me.
Now, like I said earlier, the card we ran on this right here was actually a pretty good card. It's probably the hardest card we've had since Trials got the revamp, which is insane much because majority of our cards every weekend have been fairly chill. Maybe one or maybe two little difficult games where you have to try and focus up a little bit, but most of them have been pretty chill. I'm not saying we're god tier players, we're above average players at best. But we can usually hold our own and actually, do fairly, don't have to try as much in most Trials games. Now, the problem with this, though, is yes, this card was our toughest one, and we had a fun time. We lost our Mercy, I think, the 5th or 6th game. I think the 6th game we lost it. But we were able to come back and win the other two and get it flawless. But yeah, we lost our Mercy, which usually for us doesn't happen. We can usually run our cards pretty seamlessly without losing our Mercy. And we usually end up taking our Mercy into the next few games to farm to farm materials and adept weapons. But we lost our Mercy on this one, and honestly, this card overall, we did not get infuriated, we did not get mad. We actually had a really good time because it was competitive, it was a lot more challenging. Not terribly challenging. There were teams we did stomp, 100%. But there were a lot of other teams that were closer than usual, which was pretty awesome, and we actually enjoyed people shooting back at us. It was fun. So, before you get into, oh, people didn't want to play people with the same skill level. Now, we don't mind it. I don't mind it at all every, game or two. It's fun. It's fun to get a challenge a game. What's not fun is getting that game every time you play.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
That's not fun. Nobody wants to sweat every single game. You should have your balance of sweat games and chill games. And yes, of course, our flawless game was very competitive, and it was awesome. It was an awesome way to end the card because it felt great, and it did feel rewarding. We even told the other team, GG, it was fun. But the problem is, after that card, if we want to run with any of our buddies, they'll get screwed because we're at 7 wins. And it's going to go based off wins. We will match people that have 7 wins. So that's fairly going to be the decent to above average players. And when we play with someone that's who's below average, that's not fun to them. And the replayability is gone. And another way you can put this into a sense is, say you go to 5 wins, you lose your Mercy, and then you lose the next game. You can't just restart another card, because if you start off again from scratch, remember, those 5 wins still count. So even on your first game, you're going to be paired with people that has 5 wins. That's very disappointing and very discouraging to people. I don't like this matchmaking system. I think it's terrible. I think it's probably been one of the lowest weeks of population for Trials. People have been complaining about it. I was wondering why until I finally got my PC back and we played. And I didn't experience it too bad, but I can see where it's a problem. It was definitely the toughest card we've had. Once again, it's not saying much. It wasn't that hard. It was just a little bit more difficult. But it was fairly doable. But it's just the fact that I can see this being a bigger problem for lower skill to maybe decent players, and it's frustrating. I'm not saying everybody and their mom should go flawless. 100% no. I still firmly believe week 1 of trials since the revamp was the best week. I think that is the best way to go about trials. I think that's a great way to do trials. I think the flawless pull is stupid. Or at least if you're going to keep the flawless pull, wait till maybe Monday to do it. I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday should be all fair game. Monday, let people come in, because when you wait till Sunday, like, no one's going to want to play till Sunday. So, and it sucks. And it does feel kind of cheesy to go into the pool that hasn't went flawless, because those are. I don't mean to sound terrible or mean about this, but those are where the lower skill players are at. And if you're like an above average skill player and you time it right with your team, and you go into trials like without going flawless yet, while the flawless pool is active, like, you're going to stomp every team. Which, to be fair, every time we played before flawless pool was reset, because I think I always got flawless before the flawless pool was active, because I just wanted to be done with it, or get as much as I could, get as many flawlesses as I could, which would be like around maybe 2, 3, possibly 4, within one night. Even without the flawless pool, I found most of our games not that bad. Like, it was pretty chill, for us at least. But can you imagine even more, like, somebody who is around that skill level who waits until the flawless pool is active? So you've already got your decent to above average players who've already went flawless when it was all free for all. So when you get into the flawless pool, what do you think that's going to be like for that above average team? It's going to be a massacre, and it's not going to feel good to all of the teams they stomp. So once again, I still feel week 1 trials is the best. No flawless pool. Keep it the way it was then. I think that was the best week, the most replayability. You get to play with as many friends as you want. You can help carry your friends. You can help play with other different people who haven't gotten flawless. That's the replayability to trials. And that's the fun part. And it's fun taking people flawless who have never went flawless. It's fun, and it feels great. Right. But you can't do that anymore. There's no replayability. Like especially in any other weekend, once you go flawless, as many times as you can, if you have that one person on Sunday who hasn't went flawless still, well, they're out of luck, because you and everybody else has already went flawless, so they'll be put in your flawless pool. And then you're going against the sweatiest of the sweats, which the flawless pool to me still isn't that bad. We can still come out with like quite a few wins, but if we were playing like to go flawless again, we definitely would lose our mercy and our flawless passage quite a few times, because there's just so many close games. Like, and it's crazy. So it really sucks for them. I will say the Wormhaven weekend with the control point, I didn't mind it that much. The only thing I have to criticize about that is the control point being pushed in the spawns. Like, if you lose, you get the control point in your spawn. If they lose, they get the control point in your spawn, and their spawn, and then they can just you or them could just camp it, and it's like really pretty much a lot of slow gameplay. It does not promote aggressiveness like people think it does. I think that weekend, I thought that weekend was easy. I think it was one of the easiest weekends for me personally. But I didn't like it. Like, if they would have kept it, like, if you rotated it around the middle section, fine. Or if you kept it where it was at, like, in the middle period each round, I think that'd be fine. Because if you do that, it does force people to push. It forces more aggressive play, and I like that. People can't just camp lanes. And that's great. But overall, I still think week 1's the best one. I don't know why I understand to a degree Bungie's Trials Labs. I get it. Helps innovate and make trials more interesting, and it gives them an idea like what people like and what to implement maybe into the base version of trials. And I'm fine with that. It's this matchmaking changing in the flawless pool. I don't like those. I think it's very discouraging to the above average to great players. I think it really is. I'm not saying lower skill players shouldn't be rewarded. Yeah, they 100% should be for their time, but not everyone should be able to get flawless. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Like, the first week was 25% of the population went flawless. I think that's a great sweet spot. But that's all I gotta say. It's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to comment, like the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day.
Downstairs.
Push through this, take the zone, and claim victory.
That one dude is super hurt.
Titan's down. Down.
Good
Yahoo!
shit. That was a good one to fucking go flawless on, man.
Yeah, it was.